where everything's good. And what is the ID of the user? And here's their ID, that unique ID that came across. So remember that was the data that said it was going to send to the localhost site. Then this page then takes that information and first just displays it across the top so we can see what happened. And then this section, second section, is invoking the presence API with that data in order to find out whether I'm online. Since I'm online, like we saw earlier, because I'm logged into the client, then you can see that it gave me the right icon and it gave me my name and my online status. So if we change the status on this guy, let's change it to be right back. So we should have a different icon and different status. If we refresh the page, then we get a different be right back icon and the status is be right back. And of course below here we have the little chat window which we looked at a second ago. Now you can use these in conjunction very easily, so I could check the status of mine, find out if he's online. If he is, then display the control, that sort of thing. Now let's look at how that works. So the main page, like I said, is just the URL. It's pretty much static. It's not going to change from site to site. I mean, from user to user. The only thing that's unique in it is my actual site information. Now, the other page is going to take those URL parameters and parse them and do something with them. So in that case, I'm actually using the ASP.NET code for that. If you're using Java or PHP or Ruby on Rails, all that is just fine. It won't make a difference. The code will just look a little different. Make that a little bigger. So what you can see is here that when we first come into when our page loads up, we're going to go in and look for the result and the ID, because those are the two things that the system is going to send back to us. We want to make sure the result was accepted. The two other possibilities currently are it was declined because the user hit cancel or no, or if I malformed my URL to go to there, I didn't put a privacy policy in, it's going to warn us about that. We do have to provide a privacy policy. Now, assuming the user was accepted, then I'm just going to take the result and the user ID, store them in the session. Typically, I would probably store it in the user's profile in a database so I have it for later reference. But for right now, for demonstration purposes, we're just going to put it in the session. And then I'm going to display that out to the text. And then I'm going to generate my script URL that you can see here from messageservice.live.com. This is that script API we were talking about. So it's going to generate this format here, users, ID, resource, query parameters. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the user's ID, stick it in there, ask for his presence, and then the callback is going to be our show presence API. And then we're going to register that startup script. So what that ends up looking like in the client, let me view the source on this. It's going to be this last one down here. So you can see here it does a script, and the source of the script is this link here, which is what we just built. So users, ID, presence, show presence. So this script will actually load and execute, and then it will invoke the show presence function, which we've defined up here. Let me move back to Studio just so we have syntax highlighted. So my presence ASPX. So we'll get that, and then here's our show presence API. So this will be the callback. The system will pass that JSON object as this presence item here will be the JSON object, and then we will do some JavaScript information to grab the frame that we've got listed up here and create a new image element and populate an image element from the presence icon. So what is the icon's URL, width, and height? So that's the presence icon. What's the text we're supposed to display as status, and that sort of thing. And the only other, all of that is all the presence API. And then the only thing I've also done down here was drop that iframe in here with my proper ID so that you can initiate the chat. Okay, now I want to give you an idea of sort of what that looks like in action. We sort of talked about what's available from the IAM control and the presence APIs, but in general, how does it actually look like in code? So first off, I want to go to the consent screen and let you guys see what that looks like. And we'll walk through the flow in the next application in a minute, but if you just have like you're going to do this one time, maybe on a blog or something like that, it's not didn't need to be programmatic, you can just go straight to the site, the link here, and set it up. So if I want to come in here, I need to check this box, say allow websites to see my messenger status. That's all good. Make sure you click save. Some people actually miss that little save button up here and just move on and don't notice that it does not automatically save it. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to show you how that works in the application. But if I do want to just set up my control, once my presence is set up, I can come into this next section under Create HTML.